Hey all, and welcome to Shadow Space, and we are commenting on another BCP video. This is called Broke Trans Refugees Beg Democrats to Declare State of Emergency Tax Money After Fleeing Red States. This was uploaded May 20th. This is being recorded May 21st, and links in the description. Excuse me, sorry. Whoops, that's not the button.
So many LGBTQ Texans are moving to Seattle, the city may declare a state of emergency. I'm Jake, I follow the news so you don't have to. Let's get to this one. Seattle's LGBTQ plus commission just sent a letter to the mayor's office, city council, and the city attorney's office. LGBTQ plus emergency. I'm Jake, I follow the news so you don't have to. Let's get to this one. Seattle's LGBTQ plus commission just sent a letter to the mayor's office, city council, and the city attorney's office. It's requesting that the city declare a civil state of emergency in response to the increasing number of people fleeing hostile environments across the country. The commission compiled some data from organizations like the Movement Advancement Project that's been raising the alarm about this. They found that many displaced people are fleeing states like these in red, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Kansas, and Idaho, due to anti-trans legislation, threats to personal safety, and barriers to health care and legal recognition. So what would an emergency in Seattle actually do? The commission says first it would simply acknowledge the crisis, but it could also allocate funding to local organizations to help displaced people, and also they say it could just affirm that Seattle is a safe place. We did the best we could to find any hard data supporting the claim that more Texans are moving here. To be honest, there's not a lot out there. But we did find that the U.S. Census Bureau now reports Seattle ranks #1 among major U.S. cities for the share of same-sex couple households. Same-sex couples make up 3.2% of all Seattle households. Portland and San Francisco are number 2 and 3, by the way. Finally, Memphis has the fewest same-sex couples in the nation. Now, it's probably no surprise that Seattle is a very welcoming place for the LGBTQ plus community. Everyone has seen Seattle Pride. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, celebrations.
Wasn't it Seattle? Was it somewhere else that wanted to fly the pride flag?
In the nation every year. In Pride Month, June is just around the corner. No word yet from the mayor's office about whether an actual civil emergency will be declared.
Boy. So we got to talk about a very interesting story out of Seattle. As the Democrat leaders, the socialist mayor, Katie Wilson, is getting begged by the LGBTQ community to declare a state of emergency because apparently there's so many people fleeing from red states like Texas into Seattle, blue states, that it is overwhelming their social safety nets, right? And I want to talk about this because the LGBTQ, it seems as if they're the only people that are moving into blue states, right? Is that what's happening right now? Blue states are getting illegals and LGBTQ people, right? And they're probably going to start getting black people as well too, right? Because eventually they're going to tell black people to flee the South because it's Jim Crow now, right? So that's the future that blue states have to look forward to, okay? Illegals, trans people, LGBTQ, and blacks, right?
Minorities. Again, it's why I don't understand why you only use race when you draw these Democrat district lines. I don't know why you don't use basically every single minority demographic, considering all of those people exist outside of the majority. This makes no sense to me. I also don't understand why in places that are majority, where the minority is the majority, where like black people make up the majority of the population, I don't then understand why it isn't important to make sure that there are white districts, to make sure that there's white representation, because they at that point would be the minority. None of it makes any sense.
Going to blue states. Anyways, so there's been this trend, right, of LGBTQ people fleeing red states. Again, like Texas. This is
but you know what? I think that's fine. It's one of those where consolidating power among states wouldn't be bad.
I'm a trans woman who transitioned over 24 years ago. My husband, Peaches, is also trans and autistic. We currently live where I
Great.
grew up. We're currently trying to escape Texas because HB 229 will go into effect September 1st, which will basically make being trans illegal. We're going to go back to pre-1969. You are not allowed to misrepresent your gender to the government or to your workplace.
15-year-old Libby Gonzalez.
See, but you're not misrepresenting your gender, you're misrepresenting your sex. You representing your gender is you misrepresenting your sex. They don't know what the words mean.
Is a lot of things.
She steals my clothes more than I steal hers.
No, I don't. That is so not true.
A sister, daughter, friend, and she's trans in Texas, a state that's one of the most restrictive in the country.
I love being here and I love my friends, and despite everything that's wrong with our state, I love it here.
So why are you leaving?
Because it's no longer safe for us.
Already crying.
Not just Texas, but America.
It was a buildup. We decided as a family that the onslaught that we knew was coming with this administration was going to make an environment
I mean, they're
far
just
too
leaving
unsafe for our
in
family to stay
general.
here.
Where are you going?
We're not sharing where we're going because my kids deserve a fresh start. We deserve safety. The majority of people don't have the means to up and leave. And this is why we need allies to step up.
When Texas considered a bathroom bill in 2017, Libby then
They already said what that's not right.
just 7 years old, testified in Austin.
I am 7 years old and I am transgender.
As Libby's gotten older, Texas has passed other restrictions. In 2022,
See? 7-year-old trans kid. So, if they wanted to medically transition when they started to hit puberty, what would be the problem? This kid is 7 and they already know that they're trans. Why would you stop them? If you're going to allow people to transition later in life because they know that they're trans, well, this is a 7-year-old kid who knows that they're trans. Why would you wait?
Governor Greg Abbott instructed the state's child welfare agency to investigate.
You don't get
parents
to
and
live in a state where you allow people to be trans, but then you make some sort of arbitrary cutoff for when they can be trans.
doctors who provide gender-affirming care for trans youth, equating it to child abuse. That's temporarily blocked now by a court injunction.
If that moves, my husband and I will be criminalized for supporting our daughter and making the very best parenting decisions that we possibly can. How can we stay here knowing that that's a potential?
In the wake of their departure, the very bathroom bill that sparked Livy's activism in the first place is back in front of lawmakers.
It's just really annoying to see how all of my entire childhood just...
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that. They're fleeing Texas, states like Texas, because apparently it is unsafe for trans people to live in states that pass laws based off common sense, right? That adhere to basic.
Well, I don't know.
Basic biology.
I'm not
And they're
dumb.
going to blue states or they're leaving the country. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what's happening in Seattle.
Seattle leaders say they're facing growing calls to do more as members of the transgender and queer communities relocate here from other states. The Seattle LGBTQ Commission has sent a letter to Mayor Katie Wilson asking her to declare a civil state of emergency. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with a trans woman who left Texas and asked her why she believes these resources are so important.
Seattle's LGBTQ community is growing by the thousands as trans and gender nonconforming people are
Because now you've got American citizens fleeing to other American states seeking asylum. You gotta love it.
refuge in the city of Seattle, but advocates warn that the organizations helping them find their footing here could run out of resources by the summer.
Shocker.
For decades, Capitol Hill has been a cultural and historic hub for Seattle's
Who would have
LGBT
predicted in the middle of a affordability crisis that's happening across the country they don't have enough resources to actually take care of you the way that you think that they're going to. It's almost like welfare, it's almost like socialism isn't free. It's almost like someone has to be constantly restocking those reserves for when people like you come along.
Conservative states
Who
hoping
knew?
for a chance to live more openly and freely. For Jessa Davis.
Is it safe to say that you sought refuge here in Seattle?
Absolutely. That was the absolute intent.
Jessa moved to Seattle 3 years ago from Odessa, Texas, the place where she transitioned. But it was also the place where she says she no longer felt safe living. Jessa says she stayed in the closet for years, but the emotional toll became too heavy.
Wow.
I was just like, I don't care, about anything more than, trying to alleviate this just sense of dread.
But she says coming out to herself and others came at a cost.
It was scary. I lost friends, I lost colleagues, and I lived with a daily threat of violence.
Seattle LGBTQ Commission Chair Chris Curia says organizations helping trans and queer people relocate are struggling to keep up with the demand for basic things like housing, food assistance, and mental health support.
Wait, hold on now. Hold on.
Well, see, because someone who's trans isn't necessarily gay. Again, why do you lump these two things together?
This is part of the reason why I'm covering this story, right?
Or why do you only include... Why do you discriminate based on sexual orientation? Why not also take in just black people? Why not be just a general, I don't know what they call them. Just a place for, runaway teens to go. Some sort of...
sense. So they're fleeing Texas. They're fleeing these red states. And they're coming to...
I don't get it. I never get it.
Blue states. Ultra woke socialist cities like Seattle, Washington. And they're begging for money, right? Do they not have jobs, right? So you mean to tell me they're up and leaving without any type of income, right? Without any type of plan to feed themselves or the house?
Well, I guess I didn't say it. I didn't want to say it. That one family, was that the decision of her parents who thought that it was unsafe for their child? Or was that the decision of was that truly the decision of the child who thought that they were unsafe and they had to leave? There was a conflicting narrative. They wanted to stay, but they said that they were unsafe. It's one where the parents seemed resolute in leaving. I question whether or not the child actually wanted to leave. I question how much it was they wanted to leave versus they were just saying it so that they would appease their parents. I don't know.
Themselves. So they're fleeing to these blue cities and they're begging
That's why I didn't want to say
they're
it.
begging for money. Is that what's happening here? Right? They're a drag on the city, right? So that you can't make this up, right? So red states are losing individuals who are dependent on the government, right? They're losing them and they're going...
the places that already have a problem of people who basically only exist on the system are now flocking there en masse.
To these blue states and they're demanding handouts, right? Because that's what's happening. These woke organizations, right? These LGBTQ...
Well, you know what? I mean, they're going to get it. They asked for this.
Organizations, they're
about to find out.
Now, where are they getting the money from? They're getting the money from the city. They're getting the money from the city because this is a giant grift. These people are fleeing without jobs, without income. And then they're coming to the city and they're begging for money when they should just get a job, right? Get a job. You know, maybe you should apply for a job.
That if you like that one person, if you believe them, they had some construction job. It was probably a good paying job. decided to walk away from it. I guess, I think, I don't know, it was kind of hard to tell, because they wanted to wear glasses that had the chain around it, like,
before you leave,
and call themselves
right,
a
make
woman.
sure you have employment lined up
okay.
before you flee a state. No, apparently they're not doing that. And the city is going to give it to them too. This type of stuff I'm talking about, right? This is what our tax dollars are going towards, right? In these liberal cities, your tax dollars are going towards stuff like this. Feeding and housing LGBTQ people fleeing red states. Does anybody think that that is a legitimate use of tax dollars? I don't think so. But again, they want to tax the rich. They want more of your tax dollars for stuff like this.
It's people coming to our region by the thousands.
I couldn't live my life being afraid of my state government in Texas.
Because of stories like Jess's, the Seattle LGBTQ Commission has asked Mayor Katie Wilson to declare a civil state of emergency.
There are some community organizations rapidly losing.
Wow, they put the Two-Spirit right at the front, and then LGBTQ.
Resources that could run out by the
update.
This is, like, there's no unity.
Has asked Mayor Katie Wilson to...
Due to the rapid influx of 2SPLGBTQIA plus persons seeking refuge in Seattle for increased safety needs, civil rights protections, and access to essential services, the Seattle LGBTQ Commission formally recommends that city leaders declare a civil emergency that ensures an effective and empathetic response to protecting these internally displaced persons at a time of urgent crisis for our community. And they literally make it an acronym. Internally displaced persons. Seattle's Welcoming City Ordinance informs this recommendation. Additionally, a growing body of reliable national data confirms the following emergent issues: discriminatory actions, conduct, and legislation that have created hostile socio-political conditions and landscapes in other parts of the country. These conditions have caused 2SLGBTQIA plus people, particularly transgender and gender non-conforming individuals, TGNCs, which is only a small part of the LGBTQIA plus with the T, to make life-altering decisions such as relocating to Seattle or elsewhere.
Declare.
Recognizing Transgender Day of Visibility, which, I mean, let's be honest, is just every day.
State of emergency.
There are some community organizations rapidly losing resources that could run out by the end of the summer.
Mayor Wilson says she's launching an interdepartmental team to fast-track what the needs are by August.
I am happy with the mayor's response as a starting point.
A rally in support of the transgender community is planned for Saturday at Cal Anderson. The commission hopes it sparks urgency so that funding and resources become available to help people like Jessup, who found safety in Seattle. From Capitol Hill, I'm Anna.
Amazing. They're having a rally for transgender people to get handouts from the government because they decided to flee red states without any job, without any income, right? Without any way to feed themselves or to take care of themselves. Amazing.
Yeah, they're
absolutely amazing.
Refugees seeking asylum. I don't even remember what dumb name they put in that stupid memo. I'm not going to say it because I can't remember what it is.
Socialists, they're gonna give them the money.
They're refugees. They're asylum seekers.
State of emergency.
They're
this is so
undocumented migrants, except they're U.S. citizens.
Terrible. And again, this is what tax dollars are going towards, right? This is what they want to tax the rich for, which really means tax the middle class. This is what they want to increase our taxes for, right? That's what they want to do. So, hey, if you're an LGBTQ person and if you're living off the government, right, and you want to flee the red states, then be my guest. Do what you got to do. And it's not because you're trans or LGBTQ. It's because you're living off the government.
Well, see, but some of them say that the reason that they're leaving is because they are trans. They say that the legislation that says that they have to be recognized by their sex at birth is harmful to them.
It's because you're strayed. If you're going to be a strayed on the system, then yeah, you should go to a blue state, right? I think that's a good move. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and
I I don't know what the problem is. Seattle is supposed to be welcoming of these people, so them allocating money to do it makes sense. I don't know how the people feel about their money being spent this way, but I assume because they're a Democrat city, Democrat state, that they probably don't care. So I don't quite know what the story is. I don't know why this was worthy of getting on the news, other than Trans Day of Visibility or something. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's, you say it in the title. They're refugees. They're asylum seekers. They're citizen asylum seekers.